Hey guys, Tyler with the Lawn Review. Got a YouTube channel and a website where we do product reviews, DIY guides, all sorts of things. Basically, residentially focused. So super familiar with the Milwaukee brand, but been doing this for a few years. Work, basically all OPE stuff. Very familiar with the Milwaukee brand, but been, I don't know, my subscribers and people that watch my videos have said for the longest time that I'm a Milwaukee fanboy, and so it's great to finally actually meet people with Milwaukee. I'm not biased towards Milwaukee or anything, but I really like your stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome. How'd you get into reviewing equipment to begin with? Like, you just wanted to start making content for fun?
Yeah, so lawn care has always been like a passion of mine. I had a lawn care business in high school. I had one in college. I had one post-college, probably 15 years of mowing lawns. And
that's awesome.
I was an indentured slave to my parents for, for
that's how it starts a lot of times.
10 years too, mowing at 10.
I've
been mowing lawns since I was about 10, 12 years old.
So. Well, landscaping is so cool because you can do that. You can start up a business really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And that makes it really dynamic and really interesting because you're competing with anybody that's got a lawnmower and a weed whacker.
Yeah. There's something cathartic too about it when you're mowing. Like, when you have a start and an end to a task. That's why I would tell my wife, like, man, I could just mow lawns all day long. Just
it's satisfying.
There's something about seeing a task completed.
Yep.
I think that's why people like those shorts so much, where it's the time lapse thing.
You're watching like hedge trimmers that slowly come into shape, or a lawn that gets striped. It's awesome. It's really satisfying just to make something look pretty at the end of the day, and see the before and after also.
And a lot of people, I see a lot of people in my neighborhood that are paying somebody else to do it. I'm like, man, you're robbing yourself.
Yeah, you're losing the opportunity. Exactly. For green socks.
Yeah. So how I got started was basically a buddy of mine and I started the website. That's how we started. Basically reviewing tools and basically giving like an honest feedback. Like, hey, I'm not paid by anybody. I don't accept that stuff. Like, I was so tired of going into Home Depot or Lowe's or somewhere and going down the line and being like, reading all the specs on the thing, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Nor do I have the time to devote to like go through all those specs. So
and check it and verify it.
I'm like, I just wanted to say, like, to the guy there, like, is this what I should get or is this what I should get? And that's kind of the heart of the lawn review, was honest feedback, concise, clear, and a little bit of humor, because we like we were talking about earlier, like, I only think about jokes all day long. So, like, if I can add my little spin to it and be funny in it, it scratches two itches. And then from there is morphed into a YouTube channel as well that has been, a focus of mine over the past couple of years. It's been really fun.
That's awesome.
That's my primary focus is YouTube, but we're, short form these days.
Yeah.
Everybody wants short form. So starting to kick some of that
funny.
out. Instagram, TikTok, things like that. But that's how we got started. But, love it.
It's cool. It's funny because everybody either wants a 3-hour podcast or a 30-second short, and there's no in between anymore. It's weird.
And I hear all of it in the comment section. It's like, too long, didn't listen, that sort of
but
thing.
You took the time to type it.
More people appreciate the in-depth. So it's
and the unbiased part of it is huge as well. People want to know what an objective third party says about it, not just the marketing specs on the box.
For sure.
So the fact that you do it just voluntarily for fun because you want to know what the real runtime is, or you want to know what the real power is like, is crucial. That's what people care about.
Years ago, it was everybody was like pushing the brushless thing. When it went to brush to brushless, and it was like advertised in Home Depot, and I'm like, nobody knows what that means, right? Like, the average person buying a mower is like, oh, that one was brushed, and now this one's brushless. Like, there has to be a way, and that's kind of the what I try to do is bridge that. Because I understand it at this point, to be able to bridge that, like, here's the innovations, and like, this is what it actually means to you. So
what it means to you is so important. Because you can talk about all the technology behind something until you're blue in the face, but what does it mean to the person pulling the trigger? It's a challenge because there's a ton of research, a ton of engineering, a ton of development that goes into making our tools the way they are. But you can't just brain dump that on somebody because it doesn't. They glaze over. So you got to talk to somebody about what matters to them.
So that's what we're trying to do. But
y'all
have a ton of new stuff coming out, especially with the OPE stuff.
Outdoor power equipment it's become a huge focus for us, and it's amazing when we get focused on something how much we can just churn out product, and the whole development process is crazy because seeing it on the inside as it happens, it's a lot of work, but then going to shows like this at the Equip Expo is really satisfying, because then we come to the world with 20 new products that meet the needs of the pro, and it's really satisfying to see somebody pick up a trimmer where they weren't a believer in battery, and then they use it in the demo and they're like, holy cow, this is batteries come a long way, and that kind of light bulb moment is awesome.
I love how y'all just did one mower, and you're like, you know what, we're just going to do the best mower, and then that we're going to be done with it. We don't have like 75 different options. This is the best mower, and that is it. And I see that kind of across the board with your stuff. Like, if it's not good, put it out. You don't like try to, like we were talking about earlier, if you try to please everybody, if you try to put down all these different options, different SKUs, everything, like y'all just said, bump that, like, let's just do the best mower. And so I did a review where I reviewed like 7 different lawnmowers, the best residential push mowers, and y'all's was on it, and it was super, super impressive tool. I had a great experience with it. It was fun to use.
We don't want to come out with something if it's not the best, if it's not going to meet the needs, if it's not going to satisfy, if it's a half effort, or if it's only like a partial solution, then why are we doing it? Right?
No, for sure. What are some of the products that you're most excited about that here at Equip that y'all are unveiling, or some stuff that's coming out new? Anything you're really interested in?
So I'm the product manager for the Quick-Lok attachment system and for string trimmers, and the new Quick-Lok power head is really, really exciting. It's a complete redesign from the ground up from the previous generation, and it's a whole nother level of productivity and capability. So it's really cool.
So if people are watching, they're like, what's Quick-Lok? It's basically a Swiss Army knife of
exactly.
tools. Basically, anything that you need, you've got a power head for it, and then you can change out the attachments depending on the job that you're doing. But I mean,
13 different attachments.
13, which is covers a lot of stuff.
Anything you could think of, really. And it's funny, I always ask people when I'm on research, I go out with pro landscapers and work on their job sites with them and understand what their needs are at the ground level. And at the end of the day, I always ask them, what other attachments should we make, or what would you want to see that we don't have?
Well, I'm waiting for the mower.
A mower attachment, a Quick-Lok mower attachment.
Then you got the whole kit and caboodle right there. You can do everything with it.
It's funny because most of the time people are like, man, I can't think of anything. You've got everything. They say, oh, a brush cutter? And I'm like, wait, we have that right there. And I go, oh, yeah. So it's cool. But so this new power head is the new part. It's compatible with all the existing attachments, but gives you 30% more power. So it gives you more productivity, more capability with your existing attachments.
So if you had the old power head, you can just
upgrade to the new power head, and it works with all your existing attachments. Now it gives us better productivity on those existing attachments, and the other cool thing is it gives us a lot of capability in the future to do some really new, exciting, innovating attachments, because we've got all the basic stuff that you could want: string trimmer, edger, hedge trimmer, pole saw, bristle brush, rubber broom, etc. The list goes on. But now with this new level of power, we can get really creative and go after some things that nobody's thought of before or nobody's done before on an attachment, and that's also really, really exciting.
Anything you can share?
Nothing we can share right now. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right, keep coming back.
I'll be excited too. I'll be watching those emails come through and see what y'all are doing. So it's really cool. What's your favorite attachment?
Favorite attachment? I think the bed redefiner is an interesting example to pick as a fun attachment, because most people don't even know what it is or have never used one, and I think that's kind of interesting. It's something that you don't really think of, especially as a homeowner or property owner, property manager. You don't notice the edge along a bed, a flower bed. You don't see whether it's defined or not. You don't think about that kind of thing until you come back the next day or the next week and you realize, hey, wait, my property looks way cleaner. It looks really nice. What's the difference? And then that's what it is. So it's a small touch. It's a small niche thing that not every landscaper takes the time to do. But when you see that kind of thing, the little things really matter, and that's a unique attachment for that reason. So it's hard to pick one, right? Hard to pick your favorite child, but I just appreciate the detail work that goes into somebody really taking care of a property. And that's part of the value of Quick-Lok to begin with, is the fact that you have this one power head and you can do all of your basic work with a string trimmer and a pole saw and a hedge trimmer. But you can also just make that small incremental investment into something that gives you one more value add to your customer.
Buy the whole new tool.
Right, exactly. So it's great for niche activities that you do once a season or twice a season.
So if you have like limited storage space or even a limited budget, you don't want to go out there and buy a new tool. You can just use that the Quick-Lok system and have all the different attachments, on your garage wall or your shed wall, and you can just go pop it out and put a new one in.
Yep.
That's what I like. You can go straight from, like, I use it a lot when I'm like edging. So I'll use that edger attachment on there, and then just walk out to my driveway with the string trimmer attachment and just pop that on there and cut the top of it off so it's crisp. Crisp putt. That's one of my favorites. My favorite though is the pole saw.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, that's funny that you asked that. I just had a kid, so
congrats.
He's a year and a half old, and my wife has taken my ladder. So
you know what? Not a bad idea.
Not a joke either. No. So like I gotta, if I want to
still gotta do the work.
I still love cutting, branches. But now I can do it from a safe distance.
There you go.
And
there you go.
That's a real thing. Like we were about to go to the hospital for her to be induced. And something fell and hit me on the head.
Really?
Like when I was messing around with a ladder. And so I was like, do you go to the hospital? Do I go to the hospital?
We go together and we go to different departments, and then call me when you have a baby.
It turned out okay. It was
okay, good.
No, it just hurt. But
there's a lot of injuries that happen when people try to get on elevated surfaces though, man. It is dangerous. So
how many of those extender poles can you put together?
You definitely recommend one. Now you can put a couple together, but it starts to get heavy, starts to get cumbersome, and a little bit more flexible the more you add. So we recommend just one extension. But
in theory, you could have the world's longest string trimmer.
You could string trim across the planet. Just put enough together. No, I have seen somebody do that where they were working down a really long ditch, and it's hard to walk down there. Definitely couldn't get a mower, but it's hard to even reach with
actually a really good idea.
on feet. So they just put an extension for the string trimmer, and we're clearing down at the bottom of the ditch. So.
No, I've got some. I have a landscaping company in Nashville as well, and there's a lot of culverts down there. I didn't even think about that, honestly. It's such a pain to get down in there, up and down. Like, I gotta get a running start to get up out of it. So if I could do that,
and then you slip and land in a puddle. For sure. Tell me about your landscaping business.
It's called TLR Premier Lawn Care. It's in Nashville. Basically, I kind of started it. I kicked it back up maybe a year or so ago. Have a lot of it is like with my business, I've like acquired so many tools with brands sent them to me, like, and I was like, I have enough stuff for an entire crew here.
Might as well start a route.
And that's kind of how it started. I was doing things for friends. One of my buddies is here with me. He's got the best lawn in the neighborhood.
There we go.
At this point, redid his lawn. So it just kind of got word of mouthy, and I hadn't used any money on advertising, but the YouTube channel is a great way to advertise.
For sure.
For it, but it's basically we do it's not really mow, blow, and go, but it's I do I have some higher end clients where I basically do the entire thing for them. Where it's monthly fee. You don't have to pull a weed. I do it all. Crew.
Just we take care of it all. Cool.
Yep. So
how many crews? Is it just
one crew?
Nice. Cool. Right now. So. It's easy to keep it controlled that way, and how you want your work done. So you do it the way it's supposed to be done. When you get huge companies, that's the trade-off. You got to balance the quality of the work with the scale and the size. So
and if you saw my editing process for YouTube videos, like
very
having somebody
oriented.
else do it right now for me, I've yet to relinquish some control there. So,
understandable. I get it. I mean, when it's your company and something that you started, you take a lot of pride in that.
But I use the Milwaukee stuff on the commercial side too. So
that's awesome. It's designed for commercial use. 3-year commercial warranty, fuel and battery. So
I think the blowers, I really like the blower. There's a lot of like low end control on that one that I really like, because I've learned that power isn't necessarily the most important thing all the time. Like if you're in a bed that has
mulch or something,
loose mulch in it, you don't want to go through there and blast it at what I think is 580 CFMs or something. Then you got to remulch the bed. I guess it is a good idea if you want to work, but no, like you can just like blow grass clippings really easily out of beds, because you do have that low end control that I really like.
And that's critical, and that's something that we put a lot of effort into. It's one thing to just have a lot of power. That's important. You also have to have a lot of power really quickly when you need it. So full throttle in under 1 second, just immediate right there. But it's also critical to have low end control so that you are doing the detail work where needed, where you're not throwing debris into windows or into cars and making a mess that you got to come back and clean. So all those things take a lot of really specific engineering focus and effort, and not something that everybody does, especially people who have never really done battery. They've just done gas equipment, and they're getting into electronics and motors for the first time, and it's not that easy.
No. Yeah. I mean, I would say probably 5 years ago, if you cut my arm, gasoline would come out. I was a diehard gas guy. Never would use electric. And then
almost everybody was 5 years ago.
Oh yeah. Right. And now I'm like, oh, it's better. Yeah. And the simplicity of like just being able to like take that same battery that, maybe even for construction guys, if you're cutting like, I don't know, like concrete or something, you can, a lot of the interchangeability of batteries, like across, your lighting system, you could use that same battery. Yeah. And, you don't have to worry about gas on all these different things or plugging in cords. That's been the nicest thing for me. Oh, yeah. I use those lights out back a lot.
So convenient for sure. Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because that's kind of how we got started in outdoor power equipment. We've been a power tool company for 100 years. It's actually our 100-year anniversary this year. Nice. And we've been doing, well, I wasn't there back then, but we've been in the construction industry, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing for a century, and we revolutionized that industry with battery when we first invented the lithium-ion battery for power tools, and we were all about mechanical, electrical, plumbing, construction, and we changed that industry from corded to cordless. And then we had those users who were so loyal to Milwaukee, who were so committed to the changes and innovations and improvements that we were driving in their life. They came to us and they said, hey, I love your bandsaw. I love your Sawzall. I love your drill. Can you make me a blower to clean up the job site at the end of the day? And we said, yeah, actually our batteries, our motors, our electronics are really good for that as well. Yeah. Or we had power utility linemen that came to us and said, hey, I love your utility impact. I love your line cutters or wire crimpers. Yeah. Can you make me a chainsaw to cut down utility poles or to cut cross arms off of these utility poles? And we said, hey, once again, our batteries, our motors, our electronics are really good for making a chainsaw too. And we realized there's a ton of opportunity to disrupt the landscaping industry and the tree care industry and the landscape construction industry. Same as we've done with our traditional trades. And landscaping is now a core trade group for us.
Well, I mean, it's super high quality stuff, and I drop this stuff all the time. So it's very well made, and it's interesting that you didn't go kind of the reverse direction, try to cram something down somebody's throat. They literally asked for it, and then you kind of provide an offering based on like an actual need versus like, here's 1,000 different tools, and see what fits for you. Like
we're not throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. And I like that you mentioned what's the need. That's something that I hear on loop in my head every day, because that's what our focus is. As a product manager, my job is to go out and understand you, Tyler, your need as a user of outdoor power equipment. And with all the other landscaping companies that I work with, same thing. It's just get out there and understand what is the need, because when we meet with engineering, when we talk with electrical engineers or mechanical engineers about a certain feature or a certain spec or a certain target on a tool, they're always going to say, all right, what's the user need? What's the user need? What's the user need? And I need to understand that and translate that to them, because if you just make a product based on what other people have in the market today or what a catalog says or what you see on the internet, you're not really going to get close to the pin as far as what somebody actually needs. That's so it's about spending time boots on the ground with you to understand what really is the user need. Do we need this or do we need that? And what matters most to you? Right.
Yeah. I'd love a way to have attachments on my back,
like a ninja sword or something.
Switch it out. That'd be cool.
Okay.
So if you need ideas, that one's free.
Hey, I'll, for that. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's see what we can do with that.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's always about like, what is the trade-off as well? Because if you carry a bunch of attachments on your back, that's cool, quick access, but then it weighs more to walk around. Yeah. So
and plus your neighbors think
you're
wrong with. They already
silly.
think I'm crazy. So, but yeah. No.
How much do you talk with your neighbors in the area? Are they always asking you to do work on their property or for recommendations?
My block right now is stunting.
Nice.
Everybody just asks me, a neighbor across the street is like, Tyler, when you putting down fertilizer? And I was like, probably in like a week or two. So put me down for some. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to do that.
Nice.
One thing about my neighborhood is everybody, it's like, I guess, paved and there's no sidewalks or anything. Okay. So a lot of things that one of my clients is like hates that gravel's in his in his
grass.
Yeah. So that sweeper or the
rubber broom,
broom will throw that stuff out of there. But yeah, you got almost an entire lawn suite of tools in one. Like, so if you're just getting into the industry, I think that's a really good option for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a phenomenal entry point to battery equipment because you can do so many different things with it. Like we've said, it's a Swiss Army knife, and you can do your string trimming and your hedge trimming and your sweeping and your cultivating and your bed edging. There's so many different things you can do with it with that one power head. So the fact that it's a multi-tool like that lets you be really versatile as you're starting out. And it's also a great point to enter into battery equipment if you're hesitant about it. You don't have to go full bore, everything battery converted cold turkey. It's a great way to just start entering piece by piece for the first time. Get a string trimmer and a hedge trimmer attachment and then see how that goes. And then you slowly branch out from there. And as a small landscaper, it's especially great because it lets you add on services over time with small incremental investments. So you start off by doing just a lawnmower and then your string trimmer. And then if you want to add a service to your customers, you start adding hedge trimming or you start adding flower planting, so you get the cultivator, things like that.
Bed redefining. I mean, it's things like that like that would be a big investment if you wanted to buy a tool like an edger on its own. Yeah. But now you can use the edger attachment. Right. And that's like icing on the cake for people. They don't, it's like you were saying earlier, it's one of those things you don't notice unless it didn't happen. Right. Or if it does happen, you're like, dang, that looks a lot better. Yeah. So if you're starting your own business, I would say like those things are early good selling points. Like, hey, you know what? I noticed some of these beds are like not
very crisp.
Not very crisp. Everybody likes crisp edges. I got some stuff that I could take care of that with real quick. Right. Like, and then they're like, yeah, actually, you know what? You're right. And then boom. But you don't have to have a separate tool for that.
For sure.
So.
And not only is that great for investment, but it's also great for space and storage as well. There's, especially when people start off, it's usually just a truck and they're fitting everything in the bed of their truck and driving around. And if you've got 10 tools sticking out the back of your truck, you're going to lose stuff on the highway probably. But the fact that you can break the Quick-Lok system into smaller pieces, it makes that storage really, really easy. And you've got one motor for everything instead of 13 different motors for 13 different tools. Right. So it makes your storage in the truck better or in your garage or in your shop. That's all really great. And then there's also a lot of other use cases like people who work on hotels or resorts or university campuses and they're just driving around in a little golf cart or a UTV. Yeah. Another huge advantage for the Quick-Lok system because your space is at a premium and you need to be able to move around and do a lot of different things on other ends of the property without bringing 13 different tools and 13 different motors with you.
It's a great space solution, basically a storage space solution, which, a lot of these guys, like you were saying, I've been there with 50 different tools in the back of my truck bed and trying to like get down in there to the other one. Yeah. If I need I like the one that y'all have with
the reciprocator.
Yeah. That was cool. I always forget the name of it. Yeah. Just like a saw, like, I don't know, but it's really cool. But that one's like, if I had my own tool for that or something, a nightmare.
And it's also not something that gets used every single day. Right. So why spend the money for an extra engine that's going to sit there when you can just put the blades on your Quick-Lok power head and then you're up and running. So so versatility is huge.
It's super cool. Yep. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. It was great having a conversation with you. I feel like we covered a lot, but it was fun meeting you and talking to you a little bit more about Milwaukee and some of y'all's offerings.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely.
Yeah.